Hello again, everyone. It's so nice to be with you. Our gospel this morning is from the 10th chapter of Matthew. Jesus said to the 12, "A disciple is not above the teacher, nor a slave above the master. It is enough for the disciple to be like the teacher and the slave like the master. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebul, how much more will they malign those of his household? So have no fear of them, for nothing is covered up that will not be uncovered, and nothing secret that will not be known. What I say to you in the dark, tell in the light, and what you hear whispered, proclaim from the housetops. Do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather, fear the ones who can destroy both soul and body in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? Yet not one will fall to the ground apart from your Father. And even the hair of your head are all counted. So do not fear, you are of more value than many sparrows. Everyone, therefore, who acknowledges me before others, I also will acknowledge before my Father in heaven. But whoever denies me before others, I will also deny before my Father in heaven. Do not think I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and one's foes will be members of one's own household. Whoever loves father and mother more than me is not worthy of me, and whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me, and whoever does not take up the cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Those who find their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake will find it." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. Everyone, therefore, who acknowledges me before others I will also acknowledge before my Father in heaven. But whoever denies me before others, I will also deny before my Father in heaven. Do not think that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. Ouch. I don't remember struggling more with the gospel than I have in the last few weeks. And I don't mean struggling to interpret the truth of the gospel. I mean struggling with that truth in my life. Struggling with what that truth reveals about us and our country, struggling with what that truth is asking of us, and struggling with that truth in what I say to you each and every week. I want to be true to the truth, but I also don't want to be inconvenienced and uncomfortable, challenged to change or risk disapproval or being criticized personally or as a preacher. And deep down, I suspect you feel the same as a hearer of the gospel. Don't you sometimes just wish for an easy, feel-good gospel? I know I do. Sometimes I want a gospel that affirms our life as it is and then just leaves us alone. I want a gospel that's easy to preach, easy to hear, and even easier to live. Truth is, none of that is likely to happen today. Jesus has taken his sword and drawn a line in the sand. Paul speaks of that line in today's epistle reading from Romans 6 when he asks, "How can we who died to sin go on living in it?" Jeremiah felt the cut of that sword in his own life, for he said, "Whenever I speak, I must cry out, I must shout violence and destruction." He can no longer ignore or turn away from what is happening. He cannot hold it in. He knows that what he must do and where he must stand. In Psalm 69, the psalmist says, "Zeal for your house has eaten me up. He's taken a stand and become a stranger to his own kindred, an alien to his mother's children." The line has been drawn. The line Jesus draws is a line between acknowledging him before others and denying him before others. I'm not talking about whether we read the Bible or go to church, say the creed, or post Jesus-y kind of stuff on our social media. I'm talking about how we live, what we say and don't say, what we do and don't do, the policies we enact or support, and the ideas behind them. I'm talking about where and with whom we make a stand today. There are, however, other lines in the sand. Jesus isn't the only one who draws lines. Some we have drawn for ourselves, and some have been drawn by others for us. And if you look, they're not hard to see. Look at the lines that have been drawn about racism, Black Lives Matter, and the placement of Confederate monuments in our country. Think about who is and who isn't welcome in America today and why. Lines run through poverty, violence, and injustice, and they run through the lack of equality, education, and health care. What you may ask, does the line that Jesus draws have to do with these situations or any other situation where you see lines being drawn? What do these situations look like when we acknowledge Jesus within them and when we deny him within them? I wouldn't be surprised if right about now some of you feel that I have crossed a line. I've gone from preaching to meddling, that I have left behind the gospel in favor of politics. I wish it were that easy to avoid the gospel, but it is not. If Jesus can say, "Whoever loves father and mother more than me is not worthy of me, and whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me," might he not also say, "Whoever loves the Republican Party more than me is not worthy of me. Whoever loves the Democratic Party more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever loves his or own position, opinion, or agenda more than me is not worthy of me." The line Jesus draws with his sword intersects every one of these issues I've raised and more. It intersects the line you and I see being drawn in our country today. It runs through your life and mine. It runs through our country. It runs through our thoughts, words, and deeds. For Jesus, there is only one line that matters. That's why I struggle with today's gospel. It holds before us a set of values, a way of being, a truth that we either acknowledge or deny. We cannot straddle that line, one foot here and the other there. There is no middle ground on which to stand, and we can't gerrymander the line to make our life easier. Jesus' sword cuts through everything. The line he draws runs through every single grain of sand in our life. That line reveals and calls us into a greater priority, a higher authority, a truer identity. Where we stand in relation to that line will determine who we are, the values we hold, and how, or even if, we love our neighbor. If you want to know where Jesus stands, what he stands for, and with whom he stands, look for the places of brokenness and dis-ease. Look for love, justice, compassion, peace. Look for people who are hurting, marginalized, oppressed, devalued. That's where you see Jesus drawing a line in the sand and taking a stand. Blessed are you who are poor, you who are hungry now, and you who weep now. But woe to you who are rich, you who are full now, and you who are laughing, and you when all speak well of you. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus stands with the poor in spirit, those who mourn, the meek, those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, the merciful, the pure in heart, the peacemakers. You have heard that it is said, but I say to you. After his temptation in the wilderness, Jesus went to the synagogue in his hometown and took a stand to bring good news to the poor, to proclaim release to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to let the oppressed go free. When Jesus was only 40 days old, Simeon prophesied that Jesus would draw a line in the sand. This child, he said, is destined for the falling and the rising of many in Israel, and to be a sign that will be opposed so that the inner thoughts of many will be revealed. What line is Jesus drawing in the sand of your life today? What is being revealed to you? And what is being asked of you? Are you acknowledging Jesus or are you denying him? Those are the questions I ask myself. I think we all need to be asking ourselves those questions every day of our lives because we all stand somewhere. We all take a stand by our action and inaction, by our words and our silence, by our thoughts and our intentions. When you look at the line Jesus has drawn in your life today, where do you stand? For what do you stand? With whom do you stand? In the Jewish tradition, there's a collection of ethical teachings. In it, one of the rabbis says this: "It is not your responsibility to finish the work of perfecting the world, but neither are you free to desist from it." I had those words in mind as the ending of the sermon even before I began to write it. I heard them as an invitation to truthfulness, authenticity, honesty, and integrity. They held a vision of the work before me. I trust those words will lead me to a life worthy of Jesus. And so, I extend that invitation to you. It is not your responsibility to finish the work of perfecting the world, but neither are you free to desist from it. My friends, the line has been drawn. And all God's blessed people say, Amen. Until we meet again.